Hi guys, so I'm going to be talking to you guys about my analyzing of both of the magazines that I decided picking. I picked Women's Health and Men's Health, and I did this to maybe compare and contrast some of maybe the similarities and differences between the two, just because they follow some of the same genre. But anywho, let's get into it. So one of the common themes that I found actually throughout both of the magazines was this idea of like glowy skin, nice skin, both face and body. Women more in the face, but men also more in the body, more on the muscles and things like that. Body type wise, I found that they were all lean people, lean and athletic builds. There's no people of a larger weight category or anything of that sort incorporated in any of the ads. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's a group they weren't trying to target or what the deal with that was, but there really wasn't any at all. I looked pretty hard to find some. Another thing we can go and talk about is some of the ethnicities that were highlighted in these two magazines, which actually differ between the two magazines, which is quite interesting. So we'll start with the Women's Health. If you can see within my collage, they did happen to have a lot of white women and a lot of things like that, but they did quote unquote make an effort to incorporate women of color. So there's one woman, another black woman, one more black woman, I think there's a black little girl, yeah, right there. But there's one thing that is consistent throughout these. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, I think it's 5 women, and there's more than that too. They're all light-skinned. They made an almost insincere effort to make it seem like they were trying to reach out and contact, I guess, all groups of women, because a lot of times women tend to be more accepting, I feel, than men, and once again, that's a stereotype, but more open nature mentally. And I think that by incorporating these light-skinned women, it kind of blinds the other populations of lighter-skinned people and think, oh, well, they made an effort, but what effort was really made? They're all light-skinned women. No one of a deeper complexion, no deep-skinned black or African people, no deep-skinned Asian people, even the Asian girl here, very fair-skinned as well, no darker-skinned Middle Eastern, Indian, anything of that sort. So that was a little upsetting. And the fact that it was so insincere. But on the men's end, it's like they didn't even make an effort. It was actually quite sad. If you want to look here, these are the only 2 ads I found. There's one right there for Weight Watchers, and right up there, the one with his head turned, I know, happen to be the 2 that incorporated any people of any other complexion other than white. And the saddest thing about this is, in the biggest ad, his face is turned. His back is turned to the photo. Both of the white men in the picture, you can see their faces, and the black man's back is to the picture. Which you can say maybe you're looking too deep into it. But on the other hand, too, it's almost like another incident of an insincere effort. You can say he's there, and you can say, oh, well, we're not making our products just for these people, or we're not targeting just these people, or we don't want these people to wear our products. But on the other hand, you're not even marketing towards them. And yeah, that was a little shocking to begin with. I think another thing that was kind of interesting was the stereotypes between femininity and masculinity. I think one of the interesting things had to do with colors, and I think a really good example of that is like right here. They're both the same exact ad for the Star-Kissed chicken. Both apparently a great source of protein. But what I found interesting in the top one, this came from the women's campaign. There's brighter light, there's lighter weights, there's yoga balls, there's, from what you can see in the back, like a treadmill machine. There's like kettlebells. It's nothing very heavy duty. It's very much quote-unquote a stereotypical woman's gym, while on the other hand, you would like to look at the men's version right here, and the lights are very dim, it's very dark, You can see the lifting racks behind them. There's a lot of heavy weight that's actually covered by Support the Veterans thing right there. But a more stereotypical man's gym, and it's kind of funny how we're still using these stereotypes to try to sell product to these different groups of people, and it's actually quite interesting. But another thing that I found kind of interesting color wise too was on the back of both magazines there was an ad for alcohol. The Nom Creek whiskey happened to be on the men's, and I think it was kind of interesting because it's a harder alcohol, and with the harder alcohol comes the stereotype of men having to be hard and this other aspect, while right here on the other side is the White Claw, kind of like, I'm not sure, I don't drink alcohol, but from what it looks like, more of a fruit flavored type of alcohol drink, and this, I guess, claiming the stereotype of it being more fruity and more colorful and trying to attract more women. And that aspect, which is another thing that I found interesting, just based on color and the taste and things like that. Another thing that I wanted to address, the differences between the two. When it comes to women, there's a bigger stress about mental health itself. The more emotional feelings that a woman would go through, more emotional things, where compared to men's health, there wasn't any of that. It was more like get tough, get hard, get big muscles type of thing. It was not about what's going on in your head and how a man is supposed to cope with his emotions and how he feels about things, and even mental disorders and things like that. There was a few ads, here's one of them, for different like mental disorders. This one for bipolar disorder for women, but in men's there wasn't even that option. They weren't even trying to reach out to men. It's almost like it's kind of like a ignored topic in that community because it defies like their masculinity. Another thing that I found interesting in the women's health was a lot of it was an attempt to be uplifting to women, and it's like find the best in you, or own it, or be the you 2.0, or light up these inner beauty tricks will make your outer radiance shine. But the interesting thing about this is that all of these quotes, like you're finding all these quotes and it's talking about how to glow from within and how to be a good person and a pretty person. But next to all these quotes, they're putting these models and other people that ideally are getting paid to look this way, and ideally are getting why they're posing next to it because it's their job, and it's giving the people they're trying to target, I would say it's almost insincere and fake. It's not the actual be the you 2.0 and own it, because it's comparing them to something that really is someone else's job. It's like telling a doctor that all of a sudden you have to go and be a construction worker. Like, it's not going to be the same thing, and it'll never work out the same way. And it gives unrealistic hopes and society hopes to these women, and they compare themselves to this, and it's quite sad because this is supposed to be women's health. Another thing that I found interesting for men's health, the magazine itself happened to talk quite often about sex. All these other things about sex with women, about the way they should have sex and all this other stuff, but not once did I happen to find any type of contraceptive or anything about condoms, anything about staying safe, anything about being protective, anything about HIV or AIDS or anything else of that sort. But you come to the women's health side, and there was a lot about different types of birth control right here, or condoms or other things, and I thought that was quite interesting because both men and women contribute to this. So if that's the case, why are these products only being marketed towards women? And why are women the ones being responsible? And why are men the one that get to talk about their magazines how to have sex? But on the other hand, it is a woman's place to say, how do I stay safe from sex, if that makes sense. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, overall, I think this project was really interesting. It was quite eye-opening to realize how much marketing teams and honestly advertisements do try and reel certain people in by different colors and different body types and all these unrealistic things. And yeah, so thanks for watching.